So today you're going to learn how to pull handles to attach to your clay pieces, things like mugs, cups, stuff like that, okay? The first thing is you're going to need to know what kind of materials you need. You need a bucket full of water, some sort of cutting material like a knife or a needle tool, a board to store them on, and pre-wedged, pre-pugged clay. All right, and so I've got all those materials in hand right away. All right. The first thing you're going to do after you get your pre-wedged, pre-pugged clay is form it into kind of like a thick carrot shape. And so that's what I have here. This is a really large piece of clay. You don't have to start with something this big, but this will allow me to get a nice long look to my handle so you guys can see it. Okay? This is best done standing up. Okay? I don't know why people pull handles when they're sitting. It's really hard to do. So the first thing you need to do is kind of get a good grip on the top. So I get a nice grip up there, and you're going to get your clay nice and wet. So it's good to have your bucket just kind of right underneath your clay. So I'm going to get all the surface nice and wet and my hands nice and wet. Okay? Now the action is kind of like milking a cow. You're going to start from the top and just kind of slowly pull your way down, sliding along the wet part of the clay. Okay? And you can see it starting to elongate, starting to kind of smooth out a little bit as I go. You're going to want to turn your clay every now and then, just slightly, so that you're making sure you're not going to have any weird uneven bumps from your hands. Now, the next big thing to remember is the position of your fingers, okay? If it's nice and small like this, your handle is going to end up small. So we don't want it that small. We want it about 1/4 inch around, so this is the kind of shape you're looking for to end. So you're going to start up, and that's how you're going to end. You're always going to end with that same shape, okay? So you're just kind of pulling and making it nice and long, starting to get that handle look. Okay, if you lose a chunk because you kind of pulled down a little too hard, that's okay. Just kind of set it in the water. This is why we grab a lot of clay, so you can have a lot of clay to work with. Okay, so the idea here is that you're kind of pulling down until it gets to the size and shape you're looking for. We want our things between 1/4 to 1/2 inch thick, to make sure that they're not going to be something that explodes in the kiln or becomes an issue in the kiln. And we want it long enough so that if I'm making something like a cup, it'll fit on that cup. So this is a nice long handle, and I'm going to just kind of pull this one off right away, okay? So what you're going to do is set it on the board, cut it off so it's a little thick. You're going to overcut just a little bit so that you have a little extra room, and then I'm going to just kind of gently shape it so that it has kind of a handle look, okay? All right, and then I can make more. Your job in this class is to make 10 altogether. That'll give you a nice amount of practice with your handle making and allow you to get better at it so that by the time you're ready to put a handle on your piece, you'll have had some nice experience with your handle making. Now, there are two kinds of handles. There's flat handles and rat tail handles. Rat tails are the rounded ones, but if you hold your hands flat, more like this, you're going to get a flatter shape, and those are really good for things like pitchers, which are a little bit bigger and require just a kind of thicker handle all around. That way you can have just a little bit more clay in it. It's stronger, but it's going to still have the thickness that you need to be safe in the kiln. Okay, so that's what I'm going to kind of show you next here. You can get really long with these handles if you're doing them right. Okay, this is a little thick down here, so I'm going to get rid of that chunk, and I'm going to just keep pulling from this top where I have that clay to help make more of my handle, okay? All right, so that's a nice long handle, good for a pitcher, so I'm going to cut that one off and set it aside to dry as well, okay? So now I've got two nice handles, one that would be good for a pitcher, one that's probably better for a cup. And that's how you make a handle. Okay.